Shimaini Petlutu Shimaini Yashi Shimaini Shibut Ari Grabshi Uruk Shimaini Yashi Anakku Anna Enkidu Enkidu Ibriyabaki
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Children of the Cup. I am your GM storyteller, Forgotten Dreams, and I am joined by a lovely cast of people. Unfortunately, Serafino's away today, so the kids are back to their usual fuckery, as one of them might possibly die. Again, we'll see. Either way, first we will start off with Azzy. Introduce yourself.
Alright, I'm Asi or Sira, and I'm playing Cecilia of Montfort, who is a Simish. And just want to remind people that when Serafino is not here, we normally get into trouble, so looking forward to today's session.
Absolutely.
Like serious trouble.
Yeah, speaking of which, Seth, you're the one who gets in trouble all the time.
I am completely oblivious to what you're talking about. I have no clue what's going on. Hello everyone, my name is Sephoriel. I'm the one that gets us, well, or at least myself, killed. At least my character, which is Ajala, which I'll be playing today.
Fantastic. And last but not least, our newest member of the coterie, Mel, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Hi, I'm Mel, and I'm playing Teammate, and I'm Ananda.
Woo! Ando! Alright, so, with our recap, now, see, Serafino has pulled a little tricksy here, as he last promised that he would be the one to do the recap. But seeing as he's not here, he suddenly seems to have slipped by that little promise of his. So we'll get him back for that later. But through the random chance of the dice gods, a recapper has been decided. And unfortunately, that befalls upon Mel.
Yes, indeed. Well, last session we started up the session at still at the mansion, where we were discussing what kind of plan to keep in regards to Mara especially, and I think we decided upon having a conversation with her and seeing what it would take for her to drop the investigation and see if that's something she would be open to doing. And after that, and also Ajala blatantly lying to Cecilia and totally getting away with it. Not. We set off towards Jerusalem, and
Oh dear.
and on the way there we came upon Bonafes, who were doing some kind of... He was at a dig site, and I believe he told us that he was digging for some kind of relics. And he also updated us on the situation with the war, as well as some of the going-ons in the city. A bit about how the troop movements were, and also, well, telling us that the Jews were still taking a neutral position in all this and might need a push. He also told us that I have a hard time pronouncing that. Persephone?
Oh, I love that all of you always mess up this name. Persephone.
Persephone, okay. Persephone was missing, at least that's what it seems like. She was last seen talking to Mara at the racks, and then she seems to be a bit missing in action. And he also told us about some rumors from the Vaticans about monsters in the dark. And yeah, no, that's not true. And yeah, moving towards Jerusalem, we went through the new gate, where Chimeg had a bit of a stare off with the Nosferatu that wasn't very impressed. And on the way towards the inn that the group has been staying at, Chimeg had a vision, well, a callback of a memory, I suppose, of city in flames and beating of hooves and, well, death, basically. And yeah, after that, and after the group went our separate way quite quickly, a few of us going to feed, and Shimeg, I think we ended the scene where Shimeg just had gotten supper for herself.
Absolutely. Oh, boy. There's a lot that's going to happen this episode, more than likely. All right, so we come back into the scene where Chimeg finds herself in the alleyway. You had completed a ritual in your room in preparation for the hunt, and you have successfully hunted. I don't remember if we had given you amounts of blood for your hunt. I don't remember.
Yes, I believe we had.
Okay, if we have, great, fantastic, that's sorted away. That also reminds me to tell everyone to go ahead and recover some of your willpower. So recover that 1 point of willpower at the beginning of the session, if you spent any.
Surprisingly, this time, no.
That's shocking. All
Yes, it is quite.
And beyond that, you now have this individual on the, well, floor of the alleyway at your mercy, should you wish to do anything with them. But for the most part, from the work that you've done, they were already in a drunken stupor and passed out. You can either leave them here, or you can move them should you wish. You could even kidnap them.
I think I'm gonna basically just put him up against the wall and gonna check if he has a coin purse.
You do find a coin purse. There's about a good 45 gold in there, 13 silver, and 10 copper.
All right, I'm gonna empty that into my own coin purse and then
Fantastic.
leave him there.
On the coin purse, you would see a bit of heraldry. If you would like to give me a intelligence politics roll.
All right.
It's never good.
One success.
Wow.
You've seen the heraldry several times since you've entered into Jerusalem, mainly on the guards themselves. It is the stereotypical. I don't know what shade of blue it is. It's not a sky blue. It's a little bit darker than a sky blue, with a golden outline of a shield, a large cross that goes through it with 4 smaller crosses in the 4 quadrants that it creates. And by your best guesses, it's the city of Jerusalem's heraldry to represent probably a noble of the city. To what effect? With 1 success, unfortunately, we would have no clue.
All right. Yeah, I don't think she thinks too much about that, and she notes that she has seen it before and returns to the inn.
Do you leave his horse there, or do you kidnap it? Because it is there. It's free. It's a beautiful horse. It's a thoroughbred.
Is it marked? Like,
Go ahead and give me a wits alertness as you look over the horse in the usual branding spots to see if it has any sort of brand on it. 2 successes. Looking over it, do you have any specialties in either of those?
no, I don't.
Okay. Looking over it, it does have a brand. The brand is old. Probably it was branded when it was first born or not too long after. And it looks to be a brand that has the markings EB in the brand. But as to who that might belong to, once again, you're unsure.
All right. No, I'm just gonna make sure that the horse can walk freely, so he's not attached to the man anymore, and then I'll let it be. I think that's too much hassle before I know much about the city.
It doesn't go far. It trots a little bit down the alleyway and seems interested for a few moments in some rotted hay that's in the alleyway, but it quickly ignores it and just stays there as you move along. And with so little time left in the night, and with the morning upon you, is Chimeg going to actually go back to her room and quote-unquote rest, even though you wouldn't necessarily have to, as the sun is going to be up pretty soon here?
Yes. How much time would I
You've only
have?
got maybe about 15 minutes.
All right. Yeah. Then she would return to the room, going through the window again if she
Okay.
can.
If you want to try and acrobatics your way up to that window, let's see here. Give me a dexterity. I would call for a dexterity athletics. I don't think there's an acrobatics. No, there's not, unfortunately. I would say if you wanted to attempt to just through sheer will of power get up there, dexterity athletics. But if you wanted to be a bit more agile, use your environment a bit more, I'd go for a dexterity performance. So either roll will do. I'm looking for just 2 successes.
Going with athletics.
Okay, so you make the 2 as you quickly hop from one side of the building to another and make your way up to your window, grab onto the window seal, and quietly lift yourself over the window seal and into your room. Just a light breeze behind you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
And then I'll.
Yep.
Yeah. Then I will close up the window and try to, like, pull something like my cloak or something over the window so no one can look in.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Let's see. Yeah, let's go with Cecilia.
All right. Well, I had left the inn because there was someone sitting at the bar.
Correct, there was.
And my first plan was to go and meet Persephone, but search for her. But it's so close to, the morning. So actually, we go to the slaughtered ox, and halfway there, I'm going to start walking like Rose.
Okay, so all right. You quickly begin to shift your demeanor. You've shifted in and out of these personas enough at this time that I don't even need a roll for your shift into that demeanor. As you quickly adjust your clothing, the way you hold your weapons, your walking gait, things like that, and make your way around the few alleyways, corners, and streets that it takes you to get over to the slaughtered ox, where you can see a semi-familiar morning crowd has begun to gather while the more usual customers of the evening are making their way out either to their abodes or off to work for those of them who are the party hard, sleep on the job kind. And as you walk in, you can see that the usual bartender is there, the usual barmaid is there. And however, you do notice that there are quite a few individuals in here who are of the Knights Hospitaller. So quite a few black cloaks, black shields with a white cross, and quite a lot of spearmen. As there's a good group of about 20 of them in total taking up the far left-hand side of the slaughter docks.
All right. Well, walk over to the bar then. But I guess pretending to look very tired. Maybe I'm starting getting. I'm not sure if I even get tired when I can be awake at day.
If you were to stay awake for 2 or 3 days consecutively, you'd start to feel tiredness, and it would be a rapidly increasing tiredness to the point where eventually you would pass out. But if you do sleep during the days, yeah, you wouldn't feel tired at all. So I guess that would beg the question: has Cecilia been sleeping during the days, or has she just been sitting in her room pondering away, looking up to the ceiling?
I think she has been at least power napping from time to time. I don't think she would be exhausted. I bet she would just pretend to be tired, but not making a scene or anything. Just
Absolutely.
maybe yawning as she moves over.
Well, you hear a familiar gruff voice from the bartender come at you as he's on the other side serving a few of the patrons, and he says, "Ah, Rose, how you doing?"
I'm doing both good and terrible. I've been up way too long. Can I get a bottle of wine, some bread, and a room so I can go and drown myself?
Give me a moment here. And he goes ahead and he goes under the counter and takes out a couple of carefully wrapped loaves of bread, unwraps one, and says, "You want a quarter or a half?"
Give me a half.
Sure. And he cuts the loaf in half and puts that on a small platter for you that's recently been cleaned. Goes ahead and goes to the back of the bar and looks down and says, "Any particular year?"
Something that makes me fall asleep fast.
I gotcha. I got a good 20 year here. Hold on. And he pulls that out and puts that down. Muggs, are you good with the bottle?
I can take the bottle. You know I can.
Good on you. Have a good sleep, yeah?
Yeah, she takes probably key as well. I don't know. She puts up the money. I don't know if he asked for any money.
He doesn't ask. He knows you enough, so you're kind of at that point in your relationship with these tavern owners where they've seen you enough times. They know where you usually hang out. If they need to ask you for money, they can just send somebody to come and ask you for it. So they're willing to let you skirt with things for a period of time.
Yeah, and she just takes it and then she waddles up the stairs. Not pretend to be drunk, but to be tired, and she like uncorks the bottle mid-stride and starts drinking, takes a bite of bread, and acts more like Rose, and a Rose that doesn't want to be bothered, and hope that no one bothers her.
All right. So you go ahead and you make your way up to your room. You are undisturbed on the way up. However, you do notice that on your way up, 5 of the rooms next to yours are also taken up by Templars, as you can see, or not Templars, but Hospitallers. As you can see, quite a few of the doors are open currently, and you can see squires walking in and out of the rooms, carrying equipment, things like that. But none of them seem to bother you as you make your way to your room.
Yeah, she just keeps walking. If she sees something nice, like a nice sword or something, she would just be like, nice, and then she keeps moving. Like the only thing she looks at is the weapons. And otherwise, she just walks into a room, closes it, locks.
Cecilia only knows French, Egyptian, and what else?
She knows Latin as well.
Okay.
And
In Latin, you would notice one of the blades upon the pommel. It is a golden pommel with a red ruby in it that has engraved in it "Gods Among Us." Yeah.
right, good. So to answer,
Thanks.
French, Latin, Venetian, and Egyptian.
Fantastic. Venetian. Oh, in that case, you would also notice that tied to one of the bags of the individual staying in the third room that's currently being dragged into the room by a squire, there is a small scrap of the Venetian flag that is like tied on, almost like a keepsake, to some of their travel bags.
Right, do I recognize the person that is carrying it, or by those bags?
You don't recognize the person. From looking at them, they look to be a lowly squire of no particular station. However, they're clearly taking it in for somebody of, repute.
Right. But she continues into her room and she locks the door after her. And yeah, basically, she eats some of the bread, drinks some of the wine, but prepares to. She will be awake in the half the day before she goes to sleep in case someone tries to bother her in the morning, because there's so many hospitalers here that she's a little on the edge, I guess.
All right, good to know.
And yeah, I can actually do this because it was a while ago. While she's lying there in bed, she will actually start fiddling around with her rosary, trying to remember something more.
Interesting. Okay, in that case, I'd like you to go ahead and make me a. What are your virtues?
My virtues are conviction and instinct.
Okay, make me a conviction roll.
Sure. She does this to her birthday because she saw the flag of Venetian and she knows the rosary is also Venetian, so that's why she remembered it. Oh, two successes.
2 successes. Out of your 3 dice, very good. Okay, I've got something for you, but we'll come back to that. So, meanwhile, we jump over to see what the Jala has been up to with the last few dredges of the night.
Well, I figured the Jala was on his way to his room, but since how much time do we still have left?
So we would have rewinded a little bit to take a view at both Cecilia and Ajala. So you've got a grand total of like 25 minutes left.
Well, hoping that most other, K-Knights of the night are sort of not paying too much attention anymore. I think Ajala will head out of the inn and actually towards, good grief, I should know this by heart by now. But I'm going to the, to my ghoul.
Ah, okay. Whose name you totally
Eleanor.
remember, right? I was about to say.
Eleanor. I'm going to see Eleanor, basically.
Getting to Eleanor's is going to be about a 10-minute walk if you're comfortable with the time that you're going to have left over.
Yeah,
This might
because
be a
I
long
plan
discussion.
to, I plan to stay the night there.
Okay,
well, the
fantastic.
day, sorry.
So in that case, with 15 minutes left before sunrise, you arrive at Eleanor's door. You can see that there are several candles that are on inside, one even in the window seal, and also you can see that there are some rosary beads that hang from the window. You don't know what it signifies entirely, but it's just something that's there.
Okay. I'll knock on the door.
There is a hurried scuffle that comes from inside as you hear the sound of several objects, clearly pottery that she's been in the process of making, clank around a couple of times, and you even hear the sound of something breaking as a few moments later the door creaks open before it opens widely, and you can see her smiling face behind the door. You're alive.
You're not hiding anything, are you? I heard a bit of noise.
What? No, no, no. Come in. Come in. Come, come.
Gladly.
And she kind of half pulls you into the door, quickly closing it behind you. You can see that she has... actually, make me a perception and alertness roll. I want to see how much detail you
That's
catch.
a good one for me. Perception, alertness. Ooh. Or at least should be.
2 successes.
2 ones in there.
Looking over everything, you quickly realize if you've ever seen someone anger baking, if you know what that is, it's where someone bakes just because they're angry and they want to get rid of emotions. She's been doing that, but with pottery. So instead of making platters of cinnamon buns and small cakes and things like that, she's just made repetitious piece of pottery after piece of pottery in various different shapes, sizes, purposes. Most of them completed pieces, and it hasn't been that long since you've been out. And you can even see that on some of the pottery pieces, they're, in particular the one that broke when she made her way to the door, there is a beautifully etched, almost drawing of your exact visage in the pottery. I'm very sorry for the mess. I apologize.
No, that's
I was a bit
fine.
stressed, so I started, working very hard on my craft. Can I get you some tea? Do you drink tea?
Yes, sure. As in, I was trying to find you last night. I couldn't find you. Is that a portrait of me?
Oh, is it? Don't worry about that. And she quickly goes into the kitchen and takes up a kettle and fills it with a bit of water that she has in a reservoir here in the house, and goes ahead and puts it over the fire.
I'll start blanketing the windows or whatever to make it.
She has
That
curtains,
doesn't
so
have
yeah, you
sunlight
can
coming in.
draw them.
All right.
So, how do you feel? How are you? As she goes around and she quickly tries to open up the various different cabinets in her kitchen and try and find mugs to pour the tea in.
Quick question, because I don't think Ajala, but he remembered. Did anyone tell him that they brought him here?
I don't remember.
I
don't
want to
think they
say
told
that
him.
I want to say that Serafino told you,
Possibly. Okay.
but
Yeah, I
my
think-
memory does not fully recollect.
So,
So we're gonna say yes, just to be safe.
Yeah, I heard that they brought me here.
Yes, they did. And your companion, friend, I don't know what she is. She's very beautiful, but very aggressive, and she makes a lot of threats.
That is, yeah, she's. Must be that she was rather panicked as well.
She begins clearing off the table, where you can
Not
see that there are
like
several
that.
uncompleted pieces still lying on the table. She begins just haphazardly moving them off the table and clearing a spot for you.
Thank you. I am sorry, by the way, to
No,
for the
no.
basically rude.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
alright. I'm glad you're okay. All right, that is what is important.
yeah, me too. To be fair, as in, I hoped to break this to you in a more comfortable environment and comfortable situation. Sorry you had to observe. Well, and I'm also sorry that my companion, associate, was so angry, threatening,
All of the above.
scary, perhaps.
Well, either way, you're better now. I'm not going to pretend to understand how. How long have you been this way?
Well, more than a year, less than 2 years. So,
That's
in
it.
the terms of what I am, sorry?
That's it?
Yeah, in the terms of what I am, I'm rather newborn.
Oh. Oh. That's quite shocking, actually. I apologize. You can hear the tea beginning to go on the kettle as she goes over to it and begins pouring cups. And she begins to stir and brew it, but she's still there in the background. And it seems like she's gone into more of a listening role than anything else.
So, I'll be honest with you, as in, you might have noticed that, well, you've probably been feeling a bit better than your usual self lately.
Now that you mention it, yes.
Well, that's basically because, well, you are bound to me now, and I'll start doing the whole... Bound, yes. I've fed you my blood, which makes you stronger, makes you healthier. It also stops your aging, as far as I'm aware.
No, you haven't. You haven't fed me your blood. I haven't. What?
You are basically, well, yes. I'll basically lift my hands. As in, I needed a place to stay here in town. And you seemed like a good option. Seem to know what you're doing with your pottery shop. You have a place to stay. I'm more than willing to help out around the shop as well. And I'm hoping this can be a mutually beneficial thing.
All the times we had wine. That's why you toasted so much.
You catch on quickly.
Oh. Wow. That's interesting. Is that all you've done?
Sorry?
Is that all you've done?
Yes.
Oh, well, fairly
And
innocent.
Besides that, as I said, I'm hoping that this arrangement can be mutually beneficial. As in, I could use your help. I'm willing to help you whenever you might need it. I need a place to stay as well. Considering that there's a lot going on that you don't know about, I'm not entirely sure how much I'll be able to help around in the more day-to-day things right now, but anything of the more important note, you can always come to me.
She just quietly hands you your cup of tea.
Thank you.
Well, that's good. That's...
As in,
Could have told me, you know.
I wanted to earlier, but
You can tell me
I found
anything.
it hard to find a moment.
I may be an old bag who runs a pottery shop, who happens to be very good at her job. But I'm here for you. Whatever you need. As much as it was that you may have, tricked me in some small way by feeding me your blood, it's okay. I forgive you.
Thank you.
But you can't do that again.
I'll try to make sure I don't.
I
Because
refuse to have you laid out on my kitchen table night after night.
yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen. Because I really don't feel like going through that again myself, to be fair.
Well, drink your tea, and I'll make... Do you eat?
I do every once in a bit. It doesn't really sustain me, however. But that is a different story. I'll explain more of that when tomorrow night falls. Because the sun is rising and I should basically lay down. As in, it's a thing with our kind, we are not supposed to walk during the day.
I see. In that case... And she looks over and she can see that you've already closed the curtains on her windows. And oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay. I'll have to bring in a spare bed, but you're more than welcome to stay.
That's fine, thank you. As in, for the evening, I'll do
No,
with a
no,
chair as
nonsense,
far as I'm concerned.
nonsense. You will take the bed. You are my guest. I will take the chair.
No offense, Eleanor, but I think your bones would be better served with a bed.
Well, don't worry about my bones. They have done me just fine over the years, and I have fallen asleep many a times in my work stool, so I will do fine in a chair. You will take the bed. Alright? Last I saw you, you were sort of like well, the half-crushed tomato. So...
Yeah, yeah,
that's gotta be
unfortunately.
playing all sorts of bad things against your mental state and physical state. How are you not more freaked out about that?
Trust me, on the inside I am. I'm just trying not to overexpress it.
Well, get some rest. And I'll be sure to limit the amount of sunlight that gets in here. I don't plan on going over to the shop until the nightfall anyway, so.
Thank you.
There's, if you do get hungry... Well, I was going to say there was extra couscous in the pot, but...
Don't worry about it.
Should I buy a goat? I know a good goat sell. They're a bit on the expensive side.
No need at all. As in, no need at all.
Okay.
Oh.
You
One
sure?
thing, we'll talk more tomorrow night. Yeah, we'll talk more tomorrow night.
Okay. Alright. Get some rest.
I will.
And
all.
that she finally kind of realizes that she broke something on her way to the door, and she goes, oh. And she goes over and starts picking up the shards of the pottery.
And I'll go to bed.
Fantastic. Sunrise comes. Luckily, Cecilia, you are undisturbed during your half daytime period that you do stay awake. Does Chimag want to get anything done during the day at all, or does she just find herself to rest?
She would want to spend some time going through the memory that she had flash for her eyes.
Huh?
To like try to make sense of it and get anything of the meaning behind it. Try to remember more.
I see. Okay. Well, to see what you can pull from it in the immediate state, before being able to remember anything else, I'd like you to go ahead and give me a... Ooh, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be intelligence, empathy.
Not a great role for me.
You still got a success.
Yeah.
Not much on what you remember of the dream or of the memory, whatever it truly was, rings out as, well, really a memory of your own, other than the fact that the memory was in the first person. However, for some reason, with the one success, you remember the girl very vividly. And
One falling from the battlements.
correct, the one who fell from the walls, or at least was kicked off the walls. In all honesty,
Mm. Yeah.
for some reason, a part of you is saddened by the thought of it happening, but you're not sure entirely why. You're not sure why that is the most vivid part of the memory of all things.
Mm.
And with one success, when you first had the memory, you remember being able to see faces clearly of individuals around you. Now that you try and think back on it, the faces are all a blur, and you don't recall anyone in particular besides her.
Okay. You said that there was the flag of Lithuania.
Correct.
Did I recognize it as the flag of Lithuania, or was it just... Did I see just a flag?
So give me a wits politics roll to let us know if it was a out of character, you know it's the flag of Lithuania, or in character, you know it's the flag of Lithuania.
What's it? Wits
Wits politics.
politics.
One success. Any specialties?
No.
So with one success, you just remember it was a red flag with a individual on a white horse. No special meaning to you at this point. You could more than likely look up perhaps in a library or ask questions of maybe your companions or someone else as to which flag this is, but out of character we know which one it is. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, I think she will spend a good time thinking about memory, trying to remember more, and probably just messing it up more in the head as she goes.
Yeah, every time that Chimeg attempts to recall more about the memory, details begin to get a little bit blurrier as time goes on, and a part of you somehow wants to seek out other. Well, it was smells that triggered it last time, so perhaps other smells that might trigger something again.
All right. Okay. That is what she will do.
Okay. And meanwhile, you are just greeted as you remember all of this, and part of the reason you can't entirely focus on the memories is because there's the ever-present happy panting of Batu in the corner. He's just glad you're back. So, eventually, those of you who wish to rest during the daytime, that time does come. And for Cecilia, you do have a memory. Early in the morning, on the docks in Venetia, it's not the memory you had of the old man coming off the ship and walking towards you and a person you knew as your mother next to you. But it's a memory of the various different ships going by, coming in and out of port. You're not standing, you're sitting in a large oak chair. For some reason in the back of your mind, you know that the oak chair is crafted by your father several years ago for you, before he passed. It's the only thing you have left of him outside of the wealth that he left for the family and his arms and armor. And As you look down, you are in a sky blue silk dress, and on your lap is his sword. And on the sword itself, in the center of the blade, is engraved a now familiar saying, Deus in nobis, gods among us.
Is it even the same sword I saw?
It is not. It is not the same. It has the same engraving, though. And for a while, you just sit there with your left hand gently tapping the sword as you watch the various ships come in and out of port as the day goes by, and the sun rests gently upon your skin. Till finally, as the sun begins to set and the lights of Venetia begin to sprawl out over the city around you, you hear a voice off to your left. Cecilia, it's time. And the memory fades as soon as you look over. And all you get is a glimpse of a man in a half plate and a bit of red cloth hanging from the very corner of that plate, with no markings on it whatsoever.
Fine.
For I would like you all to go ahead and spend 1 point of your blood as you arise for the next evening. So, underneath, it would only be Chimeg's door. You find a small piece of parchment, carefully folded and stamped with a red seal of Bartholomew's sigil.
Alright. I'll take it up and break the seal.
Okay. As you take it up, it's not long before you realize inside there is an object. Feels hard, circular, metal. And as you break the seal, you quickly find there is no writing within the parchment. It simply holds within it a brass ring.
Just a plain ring.
It appears to be just a plain ring.
She's just gonna look at it and turn it around, trying to figure out what the point is.
Okay. As you pull it out of the parchment and look at it and begin to turn it, you notice that as your fingers leave the brass and go to turn the ring, there is the slightest glow left as an imprint in the brass. Slight green glow.
Have I seen anything like it before?
Give me a intelligence occult. Difficulty 5.
Could I do like Hearth Wisdom?
Unfortunately, Earth Wisdom is not going to come into play here. Not difficulty 5, sorry. I forget that this is Dark Ages V20. No, you're looking for 5 successes, is what I meant. At difficulty 6.
I don't even know if I can do that.
No idea.
But it doesn't feel weird or like...
Feels like a brass ring that when Whenever your fingers leave the metal, it leaves a light, glowing imprint for a few seconds on the metal.
I'm gonna look to Batu, like, questioning, and just mutter, I don't understand this. And I will put it back into... Was it an envelope, or was it just a...
It was basically a piece of parchment folded carefully to resemble an envelope.
Alright, I'll refold the ring in it and make my way downstairs.
Okay. Make your way downstairs. And you find a lively group of individuals making their way about the downstairs, talking at the bar, having food, so on and so forth. However, your companions currently are not there, as there is no sign of either Serafino, Ajala, or Cecilia.
She looks disappointed. Like, she was expecting people to be there, and looks like she's doesn't really know what to do for a moment. And then I think she will go over to the bartender and... Oh, well, is there an open table?
There is. There are 3 open tables currently. And as you are looking around, you can hear, and if you quickly look down, there's the sign of Batu making small circles around your legs, also looking around himself for something. You're not entirely sure what, but for something.
Alright. Then she'll basically just indicate for Batu to go over to the table, and then she'll make her way to the bartender.
Okay. So you make your way over to the bartender, and he looks over at you and kind of just nods his head before going back to his the customer that he's currently serving. Pours them a mug of ale and then gives it to them before making his way properly over to you. How can I help you, miss?
Hi. I don't know if you remember yesterday. I came in with a few of my companions.
I believe
Do you
you're
know
with
them?
the with that proper woman and the Nubian dude and that Iberian dude.
Yes.
Dude.
Have you seen them? Are they around?
Not tonight, but knowing them, they'll be here soon enough, if not sometime tonight.
Alright, thanks. And she'll just walk over to the table and sit down.
With that, he
A
goes
bit like
back
a
to-
lost puppy.
Absolutely. He goes back to serving drinks to some of the other patrons. Meanwhile, we'll jump over to Ajala. As you come the wake inside of Eleanor's home, you can already... When you go to sleep in your room, there's a sense of familiarity whenever you wake up. Everything's in its proper place, nothing's been moved. But as you open your eyes within Eleanor's home, it's an entirely different scene. The place is already looks like it's had several hours of cleaning done to it. The pottery that was once there has already been cleared out of the room. What remained of the broken pottery is just a few small chips and pieces that are sort of intermixed with the wooden planks in between the planks themselves. And there is a fresh pile of some breads, a bit of wine, cheese, and also what looks like some recently reheated couscous is sitting on the table, a few candles sitting at it, and there's a fresh smell of wet clay in the air. The cellar door is currently open, and a light moves back and forth down inside the cellar. As you hear the sound of vases being stacked.
All right. Good evening.
Oh, you're awake. Give me a moment. There's a bit of a
Sure.
clatter and you hear the creaking of wooden steps as eventually Eleanor's head pops through the cellar door, and you can see she's got her hair tied up and covered over with a piece of cloth. And she's has normal clothes underneath a very large leather apron. Looks to possibly be a cowhide, more than likely, apron. But as she pops out, she also brings up the lantern in her hand and says, I've made food. It's on the table, ready for you. Is there anything I can get
Noted.
you?
Oh, no, thanks, as in this will be more than enough.
Great.
Do you mind sitting down for a few minutes before I leave?
Okay. Yeah, hold on 1 second. And she looks around and just places the lantern down onto the ground next to the cellar door before dusting herself off, and pulling her apron off and putting it up on a hook that she has, a wooden hook that she has in the wall. Closes the cellar door behind her and makes her way over to one of the stools at the main table itself. And you can see that her hands and most of her arm up to just about her elbow is hard caked in dried clay.
I will partake in the food as this conversation is going on, just to make her feel better, because it doesn't really do anything for me, but rituals, I guess. Look, Eleanor, small detail. I know that you also sell opium, I believe.
Oh, you found that out.
Yeah, it was one of the first things I noticed.
I see.
Don't-
That's why you wanted to do the shipment to the sheriff. Yes. Okay. Everything makes sense now. Sorry. And
Sorry, the sheriff, is he involved in that?
well, he's my main customer.
Ah, that.
Remember, you had offered when I did my next shipment to him of pottery that you would want to be a part of taking it to him.
That actually didn't have to do with the opium, but
Oh,
that aside, I am
Oh.
curious. Do you do that for someone in particular? Do you do that on your own? Is there like a ring behind that?
as you say ring, kind of a smile creeps over her face as she begins to rub her hands and cracked clay begins to fall off of it and onto the floor below her. There's... Well, you could say there's somewhat of a ring, I guess you could say, yes. I received my opium from a caravan that comes from the Far East. And I then pay for it and then sell it to various individuals. And I do have a bit of a clientele list here in the city, if you're so inclined.
I would say keep it up. I am curious though, doesn't that mean that does it bring in a lot of money or not?
It brings in its fair amounts. The issue is not the money that it brings in. The issue is the amount of supply I get in its regularity. It takes quite a while for my supplier to arrive from the Silk Road.
That makes sense. No, I was curious because, well, I've been, let's say, cleaning up the street of the more unsavory types in this area. Was curious if they were involved and if I wasn't sort of cutting into your business, but at least I'm not. That's good to hear.
Have you seen the branding on any of these individuals?
I'll pick out one of the rings that I found.
Okay.
I remember something about a little toe, something about a finger, and I found this on one of them.
Ah, yes, that... I see. Those are... Well, I would normally say that those are very dangerous legs to be stepping on. They aren't... they don't work in my circle so much. At least not yet. No, those individuals deal with human trafficking. That's far beyond the pale for me.
Interesting. It is good to know, however. Out of curiosity, do you happen to know more about them? Or is that about what you know?
What would you want to know about them?
Mainly who's behind it, who's their leader.
Well, there's Little Toe and there's Little Finger. They are a pair of twins. Ugly bastards. Very, very, very brutal in their dealings, especially if you were to betray them. Closest thing we have to, I guess, what you could call organized crime here in the city. What to say? They run a number of different rackets, protection rackets, things like that. Human trafficking, as I said. They also service quite a few clientele within the nobility, mostly with prostitution. Outside of that, they don't really have any competition here.
That's interesting to know. Well, you know, if they ever have the gall to knock on your door to
Oh, no.
let me know and I'll take care of them.
I'm a little too remote and broke for their taste. They stay within more the area of the Armenian Quarter, and also sort of towards the Church of St. John the Baptist, with a couple of dealings here and there, with an individual they call the Black Hound in the Jewish Quarter. I don't know much about the Black Hound, but apparently the rumor is that he's a very powerful man who does limited amounts of business within the criminal world, and is most well known for feeding his enemies to a terrifying-looking dog.
I think I know the individual.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a scary man.
Oh. Interesting.
Let's say he's scarier than my companion.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Anyway, I'm quite sure that my companion also expressed the most extreme need for secrecy.
Yes. Yes.
Good. We'll keep it that way.
Including the bit about cutting off your head.
Cutting off my head?
Yeah, well, the bit of secrecy was I should keep the secret, otherwise I would die and you would die.
Ah, well. Not too happy to hear that, but I understand her position, I guess. Anyway, I'll talk to you whenever I'm back. I hope that to be by the end
Okay,
of
then you're
the
leaving.
night.
All right. I have no power over you. I cannot make you stay within these walls. So, yes.
I'll be back by the end of the night, most likely.
Okay. All right. Stay safe. Don't do anything stupid.
I try not to. Thanks for your concern, though, and enjoy your night as well.
Right.
And I'll make my way out and go to the painted lady.
Okay. Meanwhile, Cecilia.
Well, I have fairly uneventful morning, hopefully, evening. I will just go, like, get out of my room, walk down the stairs, just taking in whoever is there, and then walk out.
Still quite a few hospitalers. Most of them not paying you any attention. Um, One of them, of course, does briefly look in your way, but quickly their eyes glaze over you as though you are no one particularly of import. And you make your way out, unaccosted.
Nice. And then I will move over to the painted lady.
So, go ahead and the two of you roll me a d2.
I have to do that manually.
Okay. Alright, fantastic. So, as Chimeg sits down at her table and Batu pants from underneath the table, she is a bit saddened. It's not long before the face of Cecilia and a few moments later, the face of Ajala appear in the doorway. And that is where we're going to take our break, and we will be right back with more Children of the Capital. See you soon. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Children of the Cup. All right, as their two faces pop into the doorway of the inn, you're no longer alone. Your companions have returned.
Yes. And Jimmy kind of like perks up and then tries to pretend like she didn't.
Batu does the same.
Well, now Cecilia, in the gaze of Cecilia, not Rose, starts moving over towards the table and like waves a little, and then flushes her hair a bit.
Evening.
Evening.
Really?
Have you slept well?
Quite. Figured I'd go and calm someone down who might have had a bit of a shock last night.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Did she take it all right?
She took it rather goddamn well. But that's good.
That is good.
And I'll also order wine or something and go sit down with G-Meg.
Yeah.
How was your evening? Well, whatever was left of it.
It was fine. I was gonna ask you actually, both of you, and she will describe the flag that she saw. It was. Do you know that flag?
Intelligence politics.
I'm gonna auto-fail that. Unless it's something that you're telling me I should know that somehow.
No, definitely something that you would have to seal your one success. Sounds
right.
European in origin.
It sounds like a European one, maybe a smaller country.
European checks out.
I haven't the foggiest.
Alright.
Well,
Oh.
I did not spend so much time on geography. Well, at least not that up there.
You wouldn't have said smaller country. You would have said larger country. Lithuania at this time is huge.
Yeah, but I mean, if I didn't recognize the
I see what you're
exact
saying,
which one,
yeah.
I would say it's probably a smaller
I
country.
gotcha.
But yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, with one success, yeah, that's about what you get. And Ajala, you're not even gonna attempt.
Joe has
Makes
no
sense.
clue. That's
It-
way too
no,
far
it makes
up
sense. Yeah, that's way too far up north.
North. He doesn't know that place.
Yeah. Here's a question for my personal knowledge for your future memories. Do you think Ajala would have ever gone to Europe?
No.
Okay,
He
good
has
to know.
no clue.
Good to know. All right.
Which is why I'm like auto-fail that, because he doesn't know. Doesn't make sense for him to know.
Alright. Oh, there was also this thing under my door this morning. And she like fold out the paper.
But then you see a brass ring. Very
was
plain.
was there text as well on the paper?
Not at all.
Like-
The only bit of any iconography whatsoever is in the seal. It has Bartholomew's seal.
No, but I can go check my room. And she stands up and like, should I check your room too, Hediala?
Yeah, that might be an idea.
Yeah, she holds out her hand to get your key. If you give your key to her, to your room.
Oh yeah, I'll give the room key.
Yeah, and then she would start walking up.
You go ahead and walk up and open your door. You find a similar package, and within Ajala's room, you also find a similar package. However, when you pick up yours, it does not feel like a ring is inside. It feels like something else. And when you open Ajala's and pick up his, it feels like something else again. In fact, Ajala's is a lot larger than the other two.
Like, how large?
Roughly where you just put your hands. Yeah.
Alright. Well, she would take up it, pick it up, close the doors, lock them, and then she would go knock on Serafino's door or see if there's any reason he hasn't come down.
As you knock on his door, Buck Truck answers. Says, hey, pretty lady, how you doing? Boss is out right
Hello
now.
there. Oh,
How can I
you
help
know
you?
what he's doing?
I've got him running a little errand of mine this time around.
Oh, how the tables have turned. Let him know that we probably need him.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I'll go. I'll let him know. I'll head that way and let him know.
Cool.
Is there anything I can do for you?
Cool, by the way.
Okay.
What did he say?
Is there anything I can do for you at all?
No, I don't think I have everything. And she has some paper and pencil stuff. But yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay.
Just try to get Serafino to get back when he's done with your task of saving
Yes.
the world.
Not so much saving the world. I've got him meeting with a contact of mine that I think he'll find interesting.
Well, just tell me all about it later.
Sure. Yeah. I was going to say something. There was, starts with a P. There was this, that one. There was this chick, Persephone. I hadn't seen her in a long time since, initially I ran into her with you guys. But Serafino said to keep an eye out for her. And
Yeah.
I saw her. I could have swore I saw her in the area he likes to call the rack. I don't know why you guys call it that. Saw her for I could have swore I saw her out of the corner of my eye there.
How long time ago?
Maybe 2 minutes ago. And that's literally impossible. He couldn't have seen her 2 minutes ago.
But he still
Like,
says
how
it.
fast does he run?
Does he still say that?
Yeah, he still says that.
Where is the racks for you?
The Armenian Quarter, right? That's what you guys call the rack?
How did you get from there to here in 2 minutes?
Well, it was like across the street, right?
Do you mean the whole Armenian quarter?
I'm assuming that's what the rack is, right?
Not the whole quarter.
Oh, it's
No.
not the whole quarter. Oh, my bad. Well, fuck, the carpet seller across the street. I saw her there.
All right.
Yeah, well,
thank
that's a lot more particular.
you. Yeah, thank you. I will. I'll actually go check it out. So, thank you.
Sorry.
No issue. It is the southern part only of the Armenian quarter.
The southern part, Okay,
You
are
know,
we talking?
from the cathedral, St. James Cathedral, and down to
Oh,
the plain.
okay, way down there. Okay, yeah, gotcha. Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Right. And she starts walking for the third time.
Have a good night. And
She
he
stops
closes the
again.
door behind him.
And she's like smiles, and then she drops, and then she like smiles again and starts walking down. Ah, peasants. And she will move over to the table.
Okay.
Well, I have a big package.
Thank you.
Oh, it was not. Maybe that is true as well, she says, and smiles and gives you a wink. And I got
Yes, that's right.
also a small one. I'm just gonna go see if Persephone is outside, but you can chat around and look on that. Apparently,
Alright,
I saw her.
I'll take whatever she gave me and open it up. I'm slightly curious.
Okay. So you go ahead and you head out the door and look for Persephone. Give me a perception alertness. Difficulty 6.
Why don't they have this? Yeah, they have spot. Did you say difficulty 6?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, good. I don't
Wow.
have a specialization.
No specialization. Okay. 3 successes. You see the individual that he's talking about. It's not Persephone. It looks very close to her, but the nose is wrong. the eyes are a shade too light, and she's a little bit taller than Persephone.
I take this extra like 10 seconds to just stare at her to see if there's something that gives up any supernatural tingling, like maybe there's
Sure.
some opposite
Perception
power going on.
awareness.
Yeah. Let's see if that goes well. Oh, 3 successes.
3
again. I'm on
successes.
the roll.
So, as you stare at her, nothing catches you power-wise about her. However, you quickly notice that there's a pair of red glowing eyes coming from an alleyway just to the left of the stall. And in that alleyway stands a Nosferatu with a hunchback, who, as you spot him, the same one from the gate seen earlier by Chimek. And as you spot him, he just gives a wry smile. And he kind of just waves.
You come closer, like oh. Yeah. And she likes plays with her hair a little, and she puts the package in her like in a bag on her side that she's holding, and she starts walking over.
Okay. You go ahead
She's
and
not afraid of any ghost.
you begin walking over, and as you make your way into the alleyway, you are greeted by, as I said, a Nosferatu hunchback, clearly heavy signs of burn scars rack his body from the neck down. He's wearing very simple ragged clothes with a large torn brown cloak. There is a dagger that hangs from his belt, and it's a very simple one of no particular make or model. It's just like, here's a dagger. No special signets or anything like that to identify himself, and tufts of wispy thin hair that kind of dot different places on his scalp. And of course, those glowing red eyes. And as he smiles, as you get closer, you can see crooked, sharp teeth underneath his smile.
Hi, I don't think we have introduced each other. I'm Cecilia, but I guess you knew that.
Yeah. It's good to meet you, Cecilia. It's rare for one of you smoothskins to approach me.
And what's your name? I haven't gotten a clue. She
Oh,
says.
yeah, no, sorry. It's a long time since I talked to any of our kind. You can call me Basra.
All right, Basra. So, why did you wave me over? You don't normally talk to our kind.
I was just saying hi. That's just, I'm a little bit on the creepy side. Sorry about that.
I can like a creep from time to time.
Oh, cool.
You don't happen to have seen Persephone recently?
The pretty little lady who pretends to be a nun? Fuck yeah, I've seen her. She's not in the city anymore. No, she's in Bethlehem.
What is she doing there?
I mean, she lives there.
Yeah, alright. I actually didn't know that. How
Oh.
I see.
Oh, that's right. You guys are like new to the city and stuff, right? Yeah, no, the pretty little lady lives in Bethlehem. She's kind of the, I guess you would say, mayor of Bethlehem in the Kindred Society.
How does she find the time to everything?
I don't know. She doesn't have very many problems out there. She's got, like, a gangrel and some Ventru fucker that lives out there with her, but they're pretty, on the leash, as it were.
I see. So why are you hanging out here? Is someone paying you to snoop after me?
No. Alexis don't pay me shit. He just asked me to keep an eye out.
Yeah, that sounds like him.
Yeah, he's a good kid, He likes to how should I put it? Keep an eye on those he deems valuable.
Oh, I guess I should be happy then that he has told you to look after us.
I mean, that depends on what kind of value he places on you. Personally, I don't know that kind of thing. But usually people of value either end up one of two things to Alexis, alright? You're either food, or you're a good companion who hangs around and chills with him. Or one of his pet projects. I forgot about those ones. That happens on rarest of occasions. And seeing as you're, how should we put it, one of his kind, according to him, he's got a particular interest in you.
Yes, that's definitely something I would talk to him about more. But alright. Good to see that you're hanging out here. I will
Yeah.
go back inside.
Okay. Alright.
Hope you not get too lonely out here. Creep on.
Oh, no, I've got some buddies around, and you watch as a rat scurries past, and he says, there's one of them. We're good.
Perfect. And she starts walking.
Yeah, have fun.
You too.
And he just watches as you go back across the street.
Yeah, and she's like, I started to hate this town. She says to herself as she's gotten like far away from him.
Mm-hmm.
And she walks back inside to whatever's happening with the package on the table.
So, back inside, as Cecilia has disappeared for a moment to look for Persephone, you open the package and find within a gilded dagger. It is, it reminds you sort of in the style of an old Roman gladius. However, much shorter, clearly. It's a dagger. And the top of the hilt is encrusted in gold, and the pommel itself is also encrusted in gold. But other than that, it's a very well-polished ash that makes up most of the handle and pommel. And it's wrapped with a red silk for the grip.
No text either, I'm guessing.
No text.
I think he's handing out gifts. And I'll sort of admire the craftsmanship on the dagger, I guess, as in it's probably finally.
Make me a perception and alertness.
It's gonna be. Whoop. Perception, alertness. Whoop. I've got a specialty, so that would be one success.
Oh, that would bring you to one? Okay.
Yeah, got 2 1s in there, so yeah.
There's the tiniest bit of text on the blade, but unfortunately, it's too small for you to read. You'd probably need some way of magnifying that.
Huh. I'll show this to Cecilia when she's back inside.
I would say at that time, yeah. Go ahead.
Does his dagger also do the shifting of color?
Nope.
Oh. Yeah. Let's wait for Cecilia. And yeah, let's see what we're gonna do with the rest of the night. And I'm thinking we should speak tomorrow, but I also think we should eat, perhaps.
I will be up for that.
Might be good to introduce you to the rack, so that you also know where that is. Speaking of, as we wait for her, as in, what is your more favored method of finding food, so to speak?
Finding food. There's food all around, isn't it?
Sorry?
There's food all around, isn't it?
I mean, like, you know, us, the type of food that we need to sustain ourselves.
Yes, that's what I
Ah,
meant.
okay, good. Well, there is food all around, but like there's particular places where we can't and shouldn't be feeding, as in I've done that once in terrain where we shouldn't, and it's brought us the entire bit of trouble and shit that we're in right now. So, just a heads
Yeah.
up.
Yes,
As
I heard
in,
about that.
I'm mainly used to hunt our little territory for petty criminals, that kind of thing. Back alley rats, as in people, not actual rats. But I'm starting to run out of them. I think... Yeah, I'm gonna have to find a new method.
Hmm.
You could say that I'm reducing the crime quite a bit in our little territory, which is good for the locals, I guess.
He's Batman.
Well, that's helpful.
Yeah. So
Well-
yeah, I want to introduce you to the rack since I'll be having to go there to feed as well. And it's interesting for, well, all of us, I guess, to go there.
It's about that time,
And-
Cecilia, that you would enter.
And the rack is like the open area then?
Yeah, it's open feeding ground for all of us, basically.
Oh, we're
Right.
talking about heading to the rack?
Yeah, might want to go there to sustain ourselves a bit.
Right. I learned some things outside there. Persephone is not there. But believe it or not, she's not missing. She's just in Bethlehem where she lives apparently.
Okay. Well, it would explain why we haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah, I wonder though why our friend, and she like fishes for the word again, Boniface, actually didn't know that. Or didn't assume she was at home. So, might be something more missing. But our friendly stalker that we have after us, because we have one of those, told me about it. We have a Nosferatu that is following us around.
Oh, okay.
On behalf of Alexis, to keep an eye out for us, in case something happens, I guess.
Should we be scared of that?
No, I don't think so. I will actually talk to Alexis as soon as this Mara business is done.
Alright.
That's
And
the
then we will see
same.
if it will be something to be scared of.
Is that the same one that was at the gate?
No, I didn't look so much at the gate, but probably. His
I
hunchback,
didn't see anyone.
kinda like this high when he's hunched, and yeah, red glowing eyes.
Also,
Smile with wicked teeth.
I'll hand Cecilia the dagger as she speaks. That's
takes
what
the
I
dagger.
got from Bartholomew, it seems.
Do I see the text on the blade?
Go ahead and make me that perception alertness.
I'll point out, I think there's something written on it, but I can't read it.
Make it with a difficulty 1.
Difficulty 1?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I find it, I don't have to roll them.
Yeah, exactly.
I try to read it if I can.
Sure. Give me. Let's see here. So we already know your languages. Let's see. Yeah, it would be in Venetian. And it's a maker's mark. And it's the name of it's the engraving of a family. I would like from you intelligence politics to see if you recognize the name. 3
Apparently I do.
successes. Funnily enough, and this might be a semi-familiar name, Simokata.
Do I know the name then?
Well, there is a certain someone you've recently just been talking about that has the last name Simokata. Although you didn't know he was Venetian, you thought he was just Jewish.
Alexis? What? Alexis Simukata. Do I know that his last name is Simukata?
I do believe it was brought up once.
Maybe I've been bad at taking notes because I didn't have that in my notes. Alright. I would be like... This is strange. Alexis made this blade.
He did not make it. It's from his family.
Oh, Alexis, someone from Alexis' family made this blade.
That is
It's
kind of
Venetian, it's a
peculiar.
maker's mark text. It's Simukata.
Oh. Go figure.
He's Venetian, Alexis. That's gonna be even more interesting for me to speak to him then. I have a lot of questions. Well, let's see what I got. And she opens up her package.
Inside, you would find a odd rectangular golden coin, very thin, beautifully stamped with characters that you don't recognize, and gives off a light greenish glow when your fingers leave it.
That one's doing the same as my ring. What is that?
Do I know what it is?
Intelligence occult.
Yeah, this is not gonna go well.
Difficulty 8.
Difficulty 8. I actually will spend a willpower on this. I
Okay.
want actually to know what this is. How afraid should I be that my fingers are now cursed?
Okay, so that'll bring you to 2 successes. Do you have a specialty?
No, unfortunately not.
You've never heard of a metal that does that. But it could very well be some sort of Tremere fuckery. I guess the best words would be.
I think this is some magic from the Tremeres. I don't know what it does though.
Magic.
Not bad.
I would guess it's something good because Bartholomew sent it to us.
Yeah, I would expect so.
Maybe it's something that protects the user, the carrier of it.
Well, one can hope.
One can hope. Maybe it's some help us in case our next step is not going well. On speaking of this, and she starts writing a letter. You know where to get in contact with Mara, so I think maybe you should deliver this letter to her.
I could.
Just slide it in on the door or something, and then make your way towards the rack. I'm gonna write on this that we want to meet. That we have found something, and we are going to be at the rack for most of the evening. Look for us at the, and then I would say one of the squares in the market.
Okay.
Keeping it fairly informal, like it's not super biggie. It's not like we must be there at exactly that time. It's more like, yeah, we're gonna be around this part. We're gonna check this square. So please come when you can.
I'll go and deliver this then.
All right.
Jala heads out the door, presumably.
Mm-hmm.
Would the two of you like to head to the rack straight away, or do you want to have any other conversation?
Chimeg is gonna say, so am I supposed to wear this then?
I don't know. I don't know how I would wear these coins. I think I would just have it in a pocket. So maybe you can have it in a pocket too. But if you think it's stylish, you can probably wear it.
Does it fit?
I don't know much about this kind of
If
magic
you attempt
thing.
to put the ring on your ring finger, it is a perfect fit.
Alright, she'll let it be on the ring finger then.
It did too. So, probably fine. I would get some form of protection.
Alright.
But, yeah. I guess the only thing that protects Ajala is more violence. Maybe that's what he got the dagger.
Well, let's hope this is as useful then.
Right. Are you hungry? Should we go right away?
I'm gonna need a moment to prepare.
I can order some wine and wait till you prepare. Does it take long?
How long would the ritual take?
That is entirely up to Chimeg. There are various different rituals that I'm assuming she has come up with that are appropriate for the hunt and what time of season it is, what your intended target of the hunt is, so it could take a varying amount of time. But of course, there's also a general, I'm going on a hunt ritual that you could do that would take a fairly short amount of time, maybe no more than about 2 or 3 minutes.
Alright, she will do a shorter one then. And yeah, she will excuse herself and move up to her room for a moment and try to center herself for the hunt.
Is Batu allowed in the room with you?
Yes.
Then he will absolutely follow gladly, panting the entire way up the stairs.
Alright.
And as that takes place, we switch over to Ajala as you make your way through the various different streets. And are you going to head straight for the Latin Partiturate?
Yes.
Eventually you would find your way there, and you would notice a very peculiar sight to begin with. The two angelic statues that once sat within the central garden of the Partiturate are now adorning the outside doorway of the Partiturate. There's also a number of about 40 shields in total of Hospitallers that line the right wall of the Partiturate, equally accompanied by 40 spears.
I don't like the sight of that, but yeah, I'll first go inside, considering that this is like the middle of the street and it might not be the best idea to try and hand it to one of the statues in that case.
Probably not.
So yeah, I'm gonna head inside to the inner courtyard and see if I can find Mara or...
As you begin making your way towards the stone stairs that lead into the Partiturate itself, you immediately get a feeling that you are being watched from the moment your feet hit the first step. And the closer you get to the door, the more the feeling increases. What's awareness?
I would glance off to the statues first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna add that if I feel like that, because I'm guessing that would be the first thing that I'm suspecting of that. Which one was it again?
Wits
Awareness or
awareness.
alertness? Wits?
Awareness.
Awareness. Wits. 4 successes.
Your eyes, or your train of thought, was correct, as you're feeling this oppressing feeling of being watched. Every step you take, one of the heads of the statues follows you, ever so slightly, until eventually you get to an angle where if they were to turn their head any further, it would be obvious to the general public moving by on the streets, and you hear the lightest scraping of stone as their heads return back to looking forward.
Mm-hmm.
The doors of the
Figured as much.
Partiturate are open to you.
I'm gonna try and find Mara, starting at the inner courtyard and then her personal library.
Within the
Or
inner
also-
courtyard, you
Hmm?
find another interesting sight.
Oh, okay.
40 Hospitallers in prayer in the center courtyard, surrounding a freshly carved statue of Jesus on the crucifix.
Ajala
There is the most
snickers
peculiar
to
thing.
himself.
As
Sorry?
you snicker, And as you're watching, you realize the crown of thorns is bleeding.
I was kind of hoping that's the reason that Ajala's snickering. He's like, if that would be one of Mara's, that would be amazing. If that statue was one of hers. But if it's bleeding, then he's like, it might actually be.
You never know. But it isn't far away from this site that you would spot Mara leaning against a stone pillar, watching the entire event as a number of different nuns and priests go about delivering communion upon all of the hospitalers in the courtyard.
Out of curiosity, does she seem okay with what's happening, or is she irritated?
She has
by
a
it?
smile on her face. She is leaned onto the pillar. She's in a nun's habit, and she currently is holding a Bible.
Yeah, as in the smile could be fake, but I'm guessing she's fine with the situation. Yeah, he'll walk up to her and he'll hold the letter up and be like, Mara,
Brother Ajala, come with me. She ignores the letter as she
Okay.
turns on her heels and makes her way for her library.
I'll follow.
A few moments later, the two of you enter in through the grand oak double doors. She gently closes them behind you, and you can hear the sound of the locking in place. So, oh yes, and she gently takes the letter out of your hands and opens it up, reads it. Okay. How are you?
Good.
Right, I locked you in here. Interesting bit of a development. It appears that some of the individuals I've hired for protection of a certain colleague of mine spotted you in your group. Well, you and Cecilia, to be exact. At least I'm assuming it was the two of you. Your face was very clearly seen and described to me in great detail.
That is correct.
Right, I was just assuming. Anyways, it was a fun run-in. Upon explaining that I had hired you, Islam would like to deeply apologize. He did not mean to you.
Yes.
Or at least,
Smoosh.
well, I should rephrase that. Islam, he totally meant to do that, but only in the context of what was going on in the situation. Now that he is aware
Miscommunication.
that it was a miscommunication, he's sorry about the entire event.
I bet he is.
Yeah. I would suggest staying far away from Islam and never getting that close to him again, though, in the future.
Preferably never, yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit on the weird side when it comes to Nosferatu. Sorry. Aside from that, my sister has made it to the Black Sea, so she should be here 2 to 3 weeks' time if all goes well. Oh gods, what else was I going to say? I had something I wanted to talk to you about, but for some reason I can't remember it for the life of me. Ezekiel. Ezekiel came by, and he was looking for you. I don't know why.
Me or my group in particular?
You.
Curious.
At least he mentioned you by name. I don't know if he was also looking for the rest of your coterie.
Interesting. Yeah, that is good to know. I'll try and find him as well, I guess.
That might be the difficult part. See, Ezekiel isn't in town anymore.
Oh,
He's been called away to Negav.
yeah, that's a bit far away, isn't it? I have no idea how far away that is. Yeah. Out of curiosity, by the way, what's with all the Knights Hospitaller? And please tell me that that statue of Christ is one of yours.
Oh, that's not one of mine. No, no, that's
Would it... Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate. It would have made it even funnier, but
that's a level of blasphemy I'm not exactly willing to touch. There are some certain members of the community within Kindred Society that would totally me if I did that.
really?
Oh yeah. Have you met
That's too
Boniface?
bad. Be that pious then?
When it comes to Jesus, Boniface was there after all.
I guess, yeah.
So was Alexis, or not Alexis, Lucius. Although I haven't seen Lucius recently. That concerns me. I haven't seen many of anybody, really. It feels like the city is empty.
Raining?
I mean,
Yeah.
Persephone's gone. I'm not sure exactly where to. And Boniface is outside the city walls digging away. It's something to do with a river of blood. Not entirely sure what that means. All sorts of weird things. Duke Ephraim suddenly goes missing and is presumed dead. Not to mention the Muslim Council. No one's seen hide nor hair of them since the fire. And Habiba.
Yeah,
Don't even get me started on Habiba. While she's shown up quite often, she's been cryptic in her words, rather irritated whenever you do speak to her, and
Well,
I think her and
isn't she
Gabriel
always?
are having some sort of falling apart.
Hmm. Well, I guess with the incoming potential fighting, it's not that strange that people are trying to stay out of the line of fire, I guess.
Makes sense, I guess. Oh,
Why?
also, fun bit of news regarding your buddy Serafino. There was a bishop that was here.
Yeah, a while ago, I think.
Yeah, he stayed here for a while. I can't recall his name. I run into so many people.
Please
Can't recall his
give me
name.
something.
I think it was Andy or something. It was something weird. Either way, he's returned to the Vatican, and apparently he's like, saying that there's monsters running around the Holy Land, the Savant. So, don't know where that's going to develop, but apparently he has some, pull with the Pope, so.
Is that the reason why all the Knights Hospitaller are in here?
No. There's been a border skirmish in Acre.
Oh, okay.
So they are, I believe they're going to Krak. And this is just one of their stops. They escorted some pilgrims from Dharam, and they're going to be staying here for about 2 nights' time, replenishing their supplies before moving on to the fortress.
Okay.
How have you been?
All right, I guess. Besides being, squashed to a pulp. Gonna have to
Right,
get my armor
yeah.
repaired as well.
Ooh.
But yeah,
I can ask if he's willing to pay for that.
well, fair's fair. He won that fight, as in. I'll figure it out.
He shouldn't go
I guess-
around squishing every kindred he meets, though.
No, as in. Still though. Anyway, I shouldn't be staying too long, to be honest. As in,
Yes,
Supposed
your
to have-
letter does say that you are all headed to the rack, so
yeah,
I have nothing of extreme importance to do if you don't mind me accompanying you.
yeah, absolutely fine. But well, being squashed yesterday, I sort of am in the need of, well, you know, food.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. All right, well, I think the Bible's a little too much, and she goes and she puts it down and
Mm,
quickly loops her
definitely.
arm into yours and opens the door once more.
We'll start walking, and it'll probably be a very awkward, silent walk for most of it, unless she sort of brings up something.
She does not. Meanwhile, arriving in the rack ahead of time is Cecilia and Chimag. As Chimag, you find yourself surrounded by the hustle and bustle of a city that never sleeps, seemingly. Um, while you're used to seeing market stalls on street corners, it seems to grow ever more intense. So do the sights and smells as more exotic items are being sold, and more exotic people are seen more and more, including way off in the distance. You do see that there is an individual who, well, by all accounts, looks like he might be a herdsman. Probably not within the Golden Continent, but he's got the hairstyle, he's got the look, he's got the clothes. You don't see a horse with him, though.
Hmm. He looks human,
Looks human from here.
and this is near the rack.
This is in the rack proper, where you see a large, massive square. Several people sit in various different square tables that line the area, many of which are playing various different games, whether it be chess or cards or things like that, sipping tea, drinking various different alcohols. There, merchants abound, speaking of their trade and gallivanting their money around, while also trying to show off to the other merchant friends that they have the pull of the eye of the opposite sex. It's just all in all told, it feels like one giant show and tell for the rich and the traveling.
All right. I'm gonna keep an eye on him as I move with Cecilia.
Fantastic. But as the two of you move along, oh, go ahead. Oh, you were saying 1 minute. Gotcha. As the two of you move along, it's a little hard to find a table if you're looking for one, but eventually you would spot a few available.
I would say I probably need to hunt, so I will go and mingle among all these people. I don't know how you hunt, but I will try my luck, snaring some men maybe.
All right. I'll try my luck myself.
Right.
As the two of you break off for your own hunts, Cecilia, you have a number of juicy targets of opportunity around you, literally in all directions. What is her approaching method?
She's going to use her appearance and charisma and trying to basically get men to give scandalous proposals and being some coil, but accepting some of them, maybe go out into, I don't know, an alley to do stuff or whatever. She's trying to play on the horniness of men, basically.
Not a very hard thing to do, so we will go with appearance performance, difficulty 5. Actually, what is your appearance? How many dots in appearance do you have?
It is 5 dots in appearance.
Okay, bring it down to difficulty 4.
Alright. And specialization, so 6 successes.
6 successes. All right. Like the old saying, stealing candy from a baby. You quickly find a young, recently come into money man who quickly makes his way towards you and begins to flaunt whatever he can to get your attention and your time. and it isn't long before you have him well within your grasp and wrapped around your proverbial pinky. And should you wish, you can easily drag him off into a small corner or an alleyway or simply just a dark spot and feed from him.
I would do so, and I would feed 2 points of blood from him.
Okay, fantastic. He'll be a little drunk, but better overall. And that brings us to Chimek, your preferred method of the hunt tonight.
Yes, tonight I'm gonna try to see if I can find someone who is moving alone for a moment. And if I can, try to, with the help of Batu, have him basically like scare that person into an alleyway, or basically rile them up as to try to get them to try to get away from Batu, and
Okay.
I will try to sneak up. Well, I think that idea is kind of to have them Batu scare them and start chasing them, and then in that chase try to take over. So kind of to make them think that they were attacked by a dog.
Okay.
If I can manage
Wits
that.
animal... What is it? Animal kin? Animal kin, yes. I wanted to say animal handling for a second from D&D, and I'm like, no, it's not animal handling. It's animal kin. Difficulty 5.
All right.
3. You're easily able to break off a rather quiet-looking individual. Merchant, looks to be probably fairly new to the trade, heard about this place, was a good place to sort of come and talk business with folks, and is kind of more pulling that awkward person at a party with a drink in hand kind of maneuver, where they're just hanging on the back corners, not really knowing where to start a conversation or who to start a conversation with. And the moment that Batu comes running in that direction, he immediately drops his chalice and quickly darts for the nearest alleyway, squealing like a pig as he does. And there are a couple of laughs from individuals as he does. But you can quickly find yourself making your way down that alleyway, and luckily for you, he doesn't get very far, as Batu quickly catches up to him, and he's in a dead alleyway anyways, as he quickly comes to a dead end, maybe a good 45 feet out of sight of the rest of the individuals. But he cowers against a wall, clearly in great fear of Batu.
All right. If I can, I'll try to get up so it doesn't notice me, and jump in. And I think if he's facing my way somewhat, so it's difficult, I will try to knock him out before I feed.
Dexterity stealth, he's trying to climb over a half-broken barrel to get on top to the roof of one of the lower hanging buildings to try and get away from Batu at the moment. 1 success, any specialty?
No.
Okay, I'll make a roll for him. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see, I'm going to give him a penalty, though, so he's only got 2d10. His difficulty is going to be 7. Oh, interesting. Well, luckily for you, ties go in favor of the player, so... he does not notice you as his leg slips and falls into the barrel, and he clearly cries out in pain from springing a Charlie horse, and then tries to limp out of the barrel and still clawing for the roof, trying to get away from the dog. And you do successfully sneak up behind him, as it were.
All right. Then I will try to... I will try to bite into him, and I think I'm thinking like how to make it kind of seem like it might be the dog attacking him. So, well, no, yes, I will just try to get bite him, and after that, if I succeed, try to knock him out.
Strength Brawl, difficulty 1.
Difficulty 1.
7 successes. You bite into him, and you bite into him hard. There is the slightest yelp that comes from him before that is quickly overtaken by the ecstasy of the kiss. How many points are you going to drain from him?
I will take 2.
Okay. So
With
he's going to seem
my-
like a very drunk individual, but he'll be fine overall.
So with my efficient digestion, I think that's 3, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, efficient digestion will bring that to 3. Fantastic. And with that, assumedly, to knock him out after you feed, do you close the wound or do you leave it on him?
I'm gonna close it.
Okay, you go ahead and you close the wound and then quickly smack his head. Not enough to kill him, just enough to knock him out into the wall. And, well, sort of like someone running into a light post at full speed, he quickly goes silent as he goes stone cold unconscious. He's still breathing, though, as he quickly falls backward as you release him. His leg thrown up into the air and breaking another piece of the barrel as he's left at an awkward angle, his left leg far up in the air and hanging off the side of the barrel, the rest of him slumped and curled slightly into the corner of the alleyway.
I'll give Batu a few scratches and say, good job. And then I'll head up.
Quickly
up,
goes over and takes what looks like a small dry ration pouch off the side of his belt and then drags it away and tries opening it as best as he can.
I'll help him open it.
Yeah. Finds a few pieces of errant jerky and a little bit of dried bread in there that he begins wolfing down before quickly joining your side once more.
She earned it.
With that, the two of you have successfully hunted, and it's about at that time, as assumably the two of you kind of make your way away from your victims, that both Mara and Ajala make their way into the rack. And it's not hard to spot a nun hanging onto a Nubian in the rack.
Alright.
Of course.
So Cecilia would approach then. Oh, you can make it so quickly.
Yes, I can. I apologize for the nun's habit. I was in the middle of something, but that is okay.
I hope it didn't disturb. Like, you could have
Not
taken your
at
time.
all. It was a cute something, but nothing of great importance.
Oh, I see. So you want to hunt some as well, or do you want to go straight to business?
I've already had my fill for the night. But I could always eat some extra. And she quickly says, why don't you guys find a table and I will do my... And she just trails off and starts walking towards an individual in the crowd.
Cecilia try to find the table a little more alone.
Good idea. Can I hunt as well now?
Sure.
I'll
Are you
ask
going for your
Cecilia,
usual
basically.
criminal element?
I'm asking Cecilia basically for permission to.
Oh, I got you. My bad.
Yeah, just hurry. We need to... I don't want all of us to be here when we talk to her. We can hunt afterwards as well.
If quickly, then I know what method to apply here. Yeah, I'll this time go into the alleys around the square, a bit further perhaps, but still within the rack. Probably at a light jog once I leave the square.
Mhm.
Searching for a robbery or a muggery.
Perception Ledgerman.
That's gonna be a different than usual one. I'm just gonna switch my perception for Legerdemain. Can I use my heightened senses for this?
I will allow a bonus die of 1 for your heightened senses.
And is that one? Legerdemain. There we go. I'll switch it out in look smell here. Would be 2 successes.
2 successes. It's difficult to spot somebody going through the various different acts that you normally look for. In fact, you don't find anyone mugging anyone in a back alley or trying to extort anyone. Instead, and it takes a good 6 or 7 minutes before you spot this individual, you watch as a young woman, probably just turned 19 or 20, making her way through the crowd in clothes similar to what Habiba would wear, nicking purses here and there where she can, until finally she
Nicking
makes
them?
yeah, and then
Like-
finally she will make her way into an alleyway, presumably to count what coin she's gotten.
All right. I'll follow her after she's done nicking people.
Mhm.
And I'll try to be quiet about it.
Sturdy stealth.
Dexterity, stealth. Where is it? Sneaky, that's it. Difficulty 6 and not 7, I believe.
Difficulty 6, yeah. You don't
Sorry,
exist.
what?
Yeah, you don't exist.
Ow.
As you approach this young woman, as she begins to open the various different coin purses, takes out her own larger bag and opens it and begins sorting through what she's gotten, counting it up on an errant crate in this back alley. And once she is halfway through that, you quietly come to behind her without making a single noise. And you are free to bite away.
I will go in for the bite, and I'm instantly going to ask a young, healthy person. They're basically out for the count for a while if you drink free, but they will be all right.
Yes, they'll be out for the count for, in their friend circle, what might be considered a suspicious amount of time, but overall they'll live. If you take 4, that's where it gets dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going in for the kiss. Need a roll for that, or?
With
She's
7
surprised
successes, I don't think I need a roll.
All right. Did she seem talented at what she did, by the way?
Very
what she
much
was
so.
doing?
Very much so.
I'm gonna drink 3 to start with,
And then you're
and
gonna get
because
one.
she seemed so talented at what she was doing, I think, yeah. Once I'm finished drinking, I'm probably going to wipe my own wrist and feed a point back to her.
Okay. You do so with ease. All right.
And then I leave her in the alleyway.
Absolutely.
And I'll make my way back to the table.
You go ahead and make your way back to the table, and as you do, roughly around the same time, you would notice that Mara is making her way back as well. You need to eat. You... Right. Sorry, I have to make a couple notes here, because you done ghouled somebody else!
I noted her down as talented pickpocket 1 out of 3.
Oops. How is it? Ah. There we go. All done with the notes. Well, your letter wasn't the most urgent, but, since as Ajala was there, delivering it, I figured I'd come along with him. I wasn't really doing anything. I updated him on a few things, which I'm sure he can quickly pass along to you as well. But, what do you need?
All right. She looks to Adiala, that's also here. And... Yeah, well, we have made some discoveries, and we have learned some things. And both good and bad things have happened, so to say.
Interesting.
The good thing is that we know now what has happened to the Duke. The bad thing is, though, that this information has become sensitive to us in the form that people knowing about the fate might harm us in an indirect way. So, my question to you, is there something we can offer you to not use the magic of your sister to find out?
Manipulation, empathy.
I will willpower this.
I would like to assist somehow, but I don't think we can in this game.
How would you like to assist? What would Ajala's method of assist be?
In this case, keep his damn mouth shut.
Unfortunately, that's not enough for it. As
Smart
much
move.
as much as it's a smart move, and as much as out of character we all know it is a great assist, that won't be enough for you to give her assist dice.
All right, let's do this. Oh my god.
Specialties?
I don't have specialties even if I would want to.
Well, your DM will allow you to know the reply to this particular line of questioning on the next episode of Children of the Cup. So thank you all so much for coming out. We greatly appreciate you, and we will see you guys next time. Adios!
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cliffhanger of the year.